First contact fallout. The observation deck of Orbital Defense Station Artemis offered Commander Elena Reyes the best view of Earth anyone could ask for. Suspended in geosynchronous orbit directly above the mid-Atlantic, the station's reinforced glass dome revealed a perfect blue marble against the velvet darkness of space. She pressed her palm against the cool surface of the glass, her reflection showing a woman in her mid-40s with stern eyes and prematurely silver-streaked black hair. "Beautiful, isn't it?" said a voice behind her. Elena turned to see Admiral Takashi Yamamoto joining her at the window. "Never gets old," she agreed. The Admiral nodded, his weathered face solemn. 20 years we've been building this place. 20 years since we picked up those signals." Elena remembered the day the world changed. 2 decades ago, Earth's most sensitive radio telescopes had detected unmistakable artificial signals from the direction of Ta Ceti. Unlike the usual cosmic noise, these followed mathematical sequences that could only be the product of intelligence. The world governments had kept the discovery quiet while frantically accelerating humanity's space program under cover of routine technological advancement. "We've done good work," Elena said, gesturing to the station around them. What the public knew as a scientific research platform was actually humanity's first orbital defense station, housing weapons systems and defensive technologies that would have seemed like science fiction just years earlier. A soft chime sounded from Elena's wrist communicator, and she tapped it once. "Commander Reyes." "Ma'am," came the urgent voice of Lieutenant Park. "Long-range sensors have detected multiple objects decelerating at the edge of our solar system. They're making course corrections consistent with artificial navigation." Elena's eyes met the Admiral's. "They're here." Within an hour, the station's command center was fully staffed and humming with tense activity. Wall screens displayed the approaching vessels, 7 of them, moving in perfect formation as they passed the orbit of Neptune. "Analysis?" Elena asked. Dr. Martina Chen, the station's lead xenotechnologist, studied her displays. "Definitely not human construction. Energy signatures are off the charts compared to our vessels. I'm detecting elements we don't even have on our periodic table." "Weapons capabilities?" Chen shook her head. "Unknown, but with that kind of power generation, we have to assume they're significant." Admiral Yamamoto joined them, his face grim. "The Security Council has been briefed. They're activating Protocol Sentinel." Protocol Sentinel, the contingency plan developed over the past 2 decades for humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. It balanced diplomatic outreach with defensive preparations. Across Earth, hidden military installations were now going to full alert, and the handful of armed spacecraft humanity had managed to develop were being readied for potential deployment. "They're broadcasting," announced Communications Officer Rivera. "The signals aim directly at Earth." "Put it through," Elena ordered. The main screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. The being had pale, bluish skin with iridescent patches where light caught it. Its eyes, 4 of them, arranged in a diamond pattern, blinked independently of each other. When it spoke, its mouth moved in unsettling asymmetrical patterns. "People of the 3rd planet," came the translated voice, a half-second delayed from the movement of its mouth. "I am Supreme Observer Kreltaz of the Axion Collective. Your world has been cataloged for integration. Prepare to receive our assessment team." Elena and Yamamoto exchanged glances. This wasn't the greetings, fellow intelligent beings message they had hoped for. "Open a channel," Yamamoto ordered. Elena watched as the Admiral composed himself. "This is Admiral Takashi Yamamoto of Earth. We welcome peaceful contact with the Axion Collective, but we do not acknowledge any authority over our planet. We propose a diplomatic meeting to establish mutual understanding." The alien's upper eyes narrowed. "Your preferences are noted but irrelevant. The collective cataloged this system 300 of your years ago. Your species has developed more rapidly than projected, but you remain a Category 3 civilization. Pre-interstellar. Category 3 civilizations receive standard integration protocols." The transmission cut off. "Well," Elena said dryly, That could have gone better. Over the next 12 hours, the alien vessels continued their approach, taking up positions in Earth orbit. Earth's governments maintained public calm while feverishly preparing for any outcome. The Axion landing craft was permitted to descend to the United Nations complex in Geneva, where a delegation of world leaders awaited. From her station in orbit, Elena watched the broadcast of the meeting. The Axion representatives, 3 of the blue-skinned beings accompanied by hovering mechanical devices, spoke with casual arrogance about resource assessment, population management, and cultural adjustment protocols. "They're talking about us like we're a company they just acquired," muttered Lieutenant Park. The Earth representatives maintained diplomatic composure, emphasizing humanity's sovereignty while seeking common ground. The meeting ended with the Axions announcing they would begin their preliminary assessment immediately, with or without human cooperation. When the aliens returned to their shuttle, UN Secretary-General Adeyemi made a seemingly innocuous statement to the press about continuing dialogue through all available channels. It was the coded signal. Negotiations had failed. Protocol Sentinel was moving to its second phase. "Status of our defensive assets?" Elena asked as she strode into the tactical center. "Luna Base reports all rail batteries charged and tracking. The Mars outpost has gone dark as instructed. They'll maintain stealth operations unless directly engaged. Our orbital platforms are all green except Station ERMS, which is reporting minor alignment issues on its main array." Elena nodded. For 20 years, humanity had been preparing in secret, while the public saw modest space stations and a handful of lunar habitats. Military engineers had been constructing hidden defenses, kinetic weapons platforms, energy projectors adapted from theoretical physics, and electronic warfare systems designed to target any technology humans could imagine. "The Axions are deploying something," reported Sensor Officer Cheng. "Small devices, hundreds of them, descending into the atmosphere." Analysis came in quickly. The devices were sophisticated scanning platforms, mapping Earth's surface in extraordinary detail. More concerning were the larger objects being positioned in low orbit. "Those are weapon emplacements," Dr. Chen confirmed. "They're establishing a control grid around the planet." Admiral Yamamoto's voice came through on the command channel. "All stations, this is EARTHACOM Actual. We have confirmation that Axion deployments are targeting our major population centers and infrastructure. The Security Council has authorized contingency response. I repeat, contingency response is now active." Elena felt a cold certainty settle over her. Humanity would not surrender its home without a fight. Tactical, prepare targeting solutions for all Axion orbital assets. Communications, broadcast the warning message on all frequencies. Engineering, bring our shield systems to full power. The warning message was brief. Earth acknowledged the superior technology of the Axion Collective, but would not accept domination. The aliens had 1 hour to remove their weapons platforms and withdraw to a negotiating position beyond lunar orbit. The response was immediate. The Axion commander, looking almost amused, informed Earth that resistance was both futile and against protocol. As a demonstration, one of their orbital platforms fired a precision energy beam that carved a smoking crater into an uninhabited area of the Sahara Desert. "That was a warning," the Axion stated. "The next target will be your administrative center in Geneva." Admiral Yamamoto gave the order everyone had been waiting for. "All Earth Defense Forces, execute contingency protocol." Across Earth's orbit, hidden platforms shed their civilian disguises. On the far side of the Moon, concealed bunkers opened to reveal massive rail gun batteries. From Mars orbit, stealth vessels broke position and accelerated toward Earth. The Axions never saw the first strike coming. 23 kinetic impactors, essentially sophisticated tungsten rods, struck their weapons platforms simultaneously. The alien technology was advanced, but physics remained physics. The hypervelocity impacts shattered 12 platforms before their shields could fully engage. "They're responding." Elena reported as the Artemis station shuddered under sudden gravitational fluctuations, some kind of axion countermeasure. All stations, execute electronic warfare package Alpha. Earth's scientists had spent years studying the alien signals detected from deep space. They had developed theoretical countermeasures, ways to disrupt what they believed might be alien communication and control systems. Now those theories were put to the test as focused electromagnetic pulses hammered the axion frequencies. 3 of the axion ships suddenly went dark, their systems temporarily disabled. The others began evasive maneuvers, clearly shocked by the unexpected resistance. They didn't think we had this capability, Elena realized aloud. They thought we were defenseless. The battle for Earth's orbit lasted just 37 minutes. When it ended, 2 axion vessels had been destroyed, 3 disabled, and 2 had retreated to positions beyond the moon. Humanity had lost 11 defense platforms and 1 orbital station, with 218 personnel casualties. A steep price, but far less than feared. The most significant victory came when a team from Artemis Station managed to board one of the disabled axion vessels. They captured the ship's second-in-command, an axion named Trelvor, along with a treasure trove of data. Dr. Chen worked through the night with her team, translating and analyzing the axion databases. By morning, her face was pale as she reported to Elena and the Admiral. "It's worse than we thought," she said. "The Axion Collective has been systematically absorbing developing civilizations for thousands of years. They identify promising planets, monitor their development, then move in during the pre-interstellar phase when the target can't fight back effectively." She pulled up schematics of massive axion fleets. This was just a scouting group. According to their communications, they've already signaled for the main integration fleet. We have perhaps 3 months before they arrive. Admiral Yamamoto's face was grave. "How many ships?" "Hundreds," Chen replied. "Maybe thousands." Elena studied the axion deployment patterns. "We surprised them this time. We won't have that advantage again." "No," Yamamoto agreed. "But we have something they don't expect." He looked at Elena. "We have contingency protocols they know nothing about. And now we also have one of their ships." Elena nodded, already formulating a plan. "If we can understand their technology quickly enough, maybe we can do more than just defend Earth." As they spoke, the captured axion, Trelvor, watched from his containment cell, his 4 eyes blinking in an unreadable pattern. The alien had said nothing since his capture, but his attention never wavered as he observed these humans, a species that, against all collective predictions, had somehow prepared for a threat they shouldn't have even known existed. The counterstrike. 3 weeks after the initial axion attack, the captured alien vessel hung suspended in the massive construction bay of Artemis Station. Teams of engineers and scientists swarmed over and through it, learning everything they could about its systems and technology. On the command deck, Commander Elena Reyes studied the holographic projection of the axion fleet's expected approach route. "They'll come through the Kuiper belt here," she said, pointing to a region beyond Neptune's orbit. "Then they'll establish a staging position near Jupiter before the final approach to Earth." Admiral Yamamoto nodded. "The Security Council remains divided on our response strategy. Half want to focus all resources on strengthening our defenses here. The other half support your plan." Elena understood the hesitation. Her proposal was audacious, perhaps insane, but after studying the axion databases and interrogating their captured officer, she believed it offered the best chance of survival. "The defensive approach guarantees a war of attrition we can't win," she said firmly. "We need to strike first, and we need to hit them where they don't expect it." The door to the tactical room slid open, and Dr. Chen entered with Dr. Quaim Osai, Earth's leading theoretical physicist. They both looked exhausted but exhilarated. "We've done it," Chen announced. "We've adapted the axion propulsion system to our prototype vessels. The quantitative feedback is promising." Dr. Osai nodded enthusiastically. And we've successfully integrated our disruption technology with their communication systems. We can effectively target their command and control networks. Elena felt a surge of cautious hope. For 20 years, Earth had been developing theoretical technologies based on the most advanced physics humans could conceive. Some had been implemented in their defense systems, but others had remained theoretical, too energy-intensive or unstable for practical use. Now, with access to axion power sources and materials, those theoretical weapons were becoming reality. "What about the Sunflare Protocol?" Elena asked. Dr. Osi's expression grew serious. "It's operational, but untested at this scale. The power requirements are enormous, and the targeting must be precise." The Sunflare Protocol was the most ambitious of Earth's secret projects, a weapon designed to temporarily create a localized solar flare-like event, disrupting all electronic systems within its radius. On paper, it could disable an entire fleet without destroying a single ship. In practice, no one knew if it would work. 3 days later, Elena stood before the United Earth Defense Council in their underground chamber beneath Geneva. Representatives from every nation listened as she outlined her plan. "The Axion Integration Fleet will arrive in approximately 8 weeks, she explained. "They expect to find a weakened Earth with perhaps a few remaining defensive capabilities. They do not expect us to strike first, and they certainly don't expect us to strike at their staging area." She gestured to the holographic display showing Jupiter and its moons. "We will deploy a strike force of 8 vessels, 6 of our Artemis-class ships, and 2 adapted from Axion technology. Our intelligence from the captured databases indicates the fleet will gather here, near Callisto, before their final approach to Earth." "And you propose to attack a fleet of hundreds with 8 ships?" asked the Chinese representative skeptically. "No," Elena replied. "I propose to disable their fleet with the Sunflare Protocol, then force their surrender. The 8 ships are delivery vehicles, not the primary weapons." Debate raged for hours. Eventually, by a narrow margin, the council approved her plan. They had little choice. Defensive preparations would continue, but Elena's strike force represented their best hope for avoiding devastating casualties. Preparation for the mission consumed the next month. The strike vessels, named Hercules, Athena, Thor, Kali, Horus, Izanagi, and the retrofitted Axion ships, Vanguard and Pathfinder, were fitted with the most advanced technology humanity could produce, enhanced by what they'd learned from Axion systems. Elena would command the mission from the Athena, with experienced crews selected from space agencies and military forces worldwide. The captured Axion. Trelvor was brought aboard under heavy guard. His knowledge might prove vital, even if his cooperation remained uncertain. As the launch date approached, Elena made a final visit to her quarters on Earth. She stood at the window of her apartment in Buenos Aires, watching children play in a park below. They knew nothing of the existential threat facing humanity, nothing of the desperate gamble about to be undertaken on their behalf. Their innocence strengthened her resolve. The launch was conducted in secrecy, with the vessels departing from different locations to avoid drawing attention. They rendezvoused in Mars orbit before activating their enhanced propulsion systems. The journey to Jupiter would take only days instead of months. Aboard the Athena, Elena addressed her combined crews via holographic projection. "Each of you volunteered for this mission, knowing the risks. We carry with us the hopes of every person on Earth. The Axion Collective has spent millennia expanding their domain through intimidation and force, absorbing or eliminating any civilization they encounter. Today, humanity draws the line." As they approached Jupiter's orbit, sensors detected the first Axion vessels arriving at their staging area, massive ships that dwarfed Earth's largest constructions. Within hours, dozens had assembled, with more arriving constantly. "They have no idea we're here," reported Sensor Officer Dias. "Their attention is focused toward Earth." Elena studied the tactical display. "Begin deploying the Sunflare platforms. Maintain stealth protocols." From each of the 8 ships, specialized drones departed, moving silently through space to form a three-dimensional grid around the growing Axion fleet. These platforms contained the technology that might save Earth if it worked as designed. When the deployment was complete, Alina gave the order: initiate contact protocol. The Athena's communications officer opened a channel directly to the Axion command vessel. On the main screen, an Axion commander appeared, momentarily shocked to see humans this far from Earth. "Attention Axion fleet," Alina stated calmly. "This is Commander Alina Reyes of Earth Defense Forces. Your intended conquest of our world will not proceed. We offer you one opportunity to withdraw from this system permanently." The Axion commander recovered quickly, mandibles clicking in what the translators identified as amusement. "Your audacity is noted, human, but futile. You have no concept of the forces aligned against you." Alina nodded to her tactical officer. "Actually, we do. We've studied your databases extensively since capturing your scout vessel. We understand your integration protocols, your weapon systems, and your weaknesses." The Axion's four eyes blinked in what might have been surprise. "You speak of matters beyond your comprehension. The integration fleet will proceed as planned. Your presence here is a minor curiosity that will be addressed shortly." Alina saw the tactical display showing Axion weapon systems coming online. It was now or never. "Execute Sunflare Protocol," she ordered. Across the grid of deployed platforms, energy began to build. Drawing power from Jupiter's intense magnetic field, the platforms created a cascading effect, generating an electromagnetic pulse of unprecedented scale. The science was theoretical, adapted from Earth's understanding of solar flares and enhanced by Axion technology. The effect was immediate and dramatic. A visible wave of energy spread through the Axion fleet. Ship after ship went dark, their power systems overloaded by the precisely targeted pulse. On the command deck, jubilation was tempered by cautious professionalism. "Status report," Alina demanded. 87% of the Axion fleet appears to be without power," reported Tactical. "The remaining vessels have partial systems only." "Phase 2, Alina ordered. The Earth vessels moved in, targeting the few Axion ships that still maintained weapon capabilities. Precision strikes disabled their offensive systems without destroying the vessels. Within an hour, the entire integration fleet hung powerless in space. Only then did Alina allow herself a moment of relief. Humanity had won its first interstellar battle against overwhelming odds. But the greater victory came in what followed. Using the captured Axion communication protocols, Alina broadcast a message not just to the disabled fleet, but to the Axion homeworld itself. The message included detailed technical specifications of Earth's defensive capabilities, analysis of Axion tactical weaknesses, and a simple warning: Earth would not be integrated into the collective. Any further aggression would be met with increasingly devastating responses. What the Axions didn't know, and what Alina hoped they would never discover, was that the Sunflare Protocol had nearly burned out Earth's strike force. The 8 vessels had just enough power to maintain basic systems and communications. The bluff was enormous, but it was humanity's best hope. 3 tense days later, the response came. The Axion High Command had revoked the integration order for Earth. The disabled fleet would be permitted to return to Axion space once repairs were completed. More significantly, they proposed a diplomatic exchange. The first time in recorded history that the collective had negotiated with a Category 3 civilization as equals. 6 months after the Jupiter confrontation, Alina stood in the newly constructed Interstellar Diplomatic Center in Nairobi. Beside her, Admiral Yamamoto watched as the first official Axion diplomatic delegation arrived. "You know they'll be back eventually," Yamamoto said quietly, "once they realize the truth about our capabilities." Alina nodded. "Yes, but by then, we won't be bluffing." She gestured to where Dr. Chen and Dr. Osai were deep in discussion with engineers. "We've already improved the Sunflare technology. We're building outposts throughout the solar system. Every day, we're adapting more Axion technology to our purposes." "And Trelvor?" Yamamoto asked. Requesting asylum, Alina said with a slight smile. Apparently, he finds humanity's approach to innovation disturbingly impressive. He's offered to serve as a technical advisor. As the Axian diplomats approach, Alina straightened her uniform. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through centuries of gradual development, but through determination, ingenuity, and the will to survive against impossible odds. The message had been sent throughout the galaxy. Earth was not to be underestimated, and humanity was just getting started.